In the opening scene, a martial arts expert named Mo walks into the police station. His face is covered in bruises and cuts that surprise the officers. When asked what happened, he answers that he just killed somebody. The officers quickly call the higher officials and arrest him. It turns out that Mo was fighting an opponent in the ring and involuntarily killed him during the match. Mo knew that what he did was wrong, even though it was accidental. Hence, he turned himself in. The scene cuts to 3 years later. A police detective named Luck has been called to investigate a murder crime scene. She is informed that the person who died was a boxer. At first glance, a forensic doctor notices broken ribs and limbs, and blood clots around the eyes. Detective Luck assumes that the victim must have been tortured for several days to be that severely injured. But by the nature of the injuries, the doctor claims the victim probably got into a fight with someone very skilled. They also notice a strange dagger lying on the crime scene. Somewhere else in the penitentiary, Mo has been living peacefully for the past 3 years. He is often ordered around by a group of inmates. With his skills, Mo can easily teach them a lesson, but he chooses to avoid any kind of argument. The news of the death makes it to the television and catches Mo's attention. He watches the broadcast in shock, almost as if he knows something about the murder. Immediately after, he runs to the guard and asks him to call Detective Luck. The guard sarcastically questions him about what else he would like to have. Mo tries explaining that he knows something about the recent murder case but is dismissed. Following that, he picks a fight with a group of inmates. The leader of the group manages to hit him on the head with a metal plate, but Mo dodges the second attack and breaks both of his arms. By now, they are surrounded by policemen who take them under custody. The prison warden knows that Mo is not normally a violent person. Hence, he calls Detective Luck and arranges a meeting between them. Mo finally meets her and claims that the person who died was his former friend who he once fought and defeated. By the nature of the murder, Mo is sure that the killer is about to go on a killing spree. He isn't looking for revenge or money, he wants to fight with the best kung fu fighters, fair and square. When asked how he is so sure, Mo fails to provide a definite answer but claims that if they set him free, he can help them find the killer. The detectives assume he is making things up to get out of prison. As they are about to leave, Mo recites 7 names and declares that one of them is going to be the next victim. The names are of the fighters who he has fought and defeated over the years. Detective Luck doesn't believe him, but she still asks her junior to collect information on all 7 people. Then, we see the murderer sharpening a dagger and writing the name King E on the wall. King E is one of the people that Mo mentioned earlier. He works in an art museum and is currently working on a sculpture of a giant human skeleton. When he is alone in the showroom, the killer suddenly appears on top of the skull and shows his face for the first time. He introduces himself as Yusao and challenges King E to a battle. They fight each other on the top of the skeleton when King E notices that Yusao's legs are different lengths. He is wearing a shoe with a bigger sole to balance himself. They fight using only their legs but still show great expertise. Eventually, Yusao traps his opponent's leg between his and breaks it. Some seconds later, he walks away leaving King Yi's dead body behind. Back in the police station, the detective studies the profiles of the 7 names provided by Mo but finds no similarity in them. All of them live simple lives in different parts of the city. However, Mo's past seems interesting to her. It is revealed that he formed a famous martial arts club and was a teacher before his imprisonment. The club has thousands of followers in the present day. He was also recruited by the Hong Kong police as a martial art instructor. As the detectives talk, they get the news about King Yi's death. Detective Luck is shocked that Mo's prediction turned out to be true. The very next day, Mo is let out of the prison temporarily under police custody. By inspecting the order of killings, Mo has realized that the killer is targeting his victims by following a martial arts practice. First, he killed the boxer who used his hands, then King Yi who used his legs to fight, so his next target will probably be someone who wrestles. Mo knows a wrestler among the remaining 6 people, but Yusao goes to the man before the police. When the police arrive at the location, they see the wrestler's body being thrown from a window. He also has a similar dagger stabbed to his arm. Suddenly, Mo looks at the roof of another building and sees Yusao. His evil smile makes him realize that he is the murderer. Mo immediately follows the man while the police do the same. A few minutes into the chase, Yusao takes a leap to the top of a neighboring building and disappears, leaving Mo and the police ashamed that they couldn't catch him. Taking the opportunity, Mo also escapes from police custody. The next day, he goes to his hometown Foshan where he meets his wife Shining. They are happy to be reunited after 3 years. She takes him home and makes him wear a sacred band on his wrist. It is supposed to make him fight only for self-defense and protect him from making the same mistake that got him imprisoned. At night, Mo finds the killer's dagger in one of the boxes with his belongings. Shining reveals that a few months ago, a limping man came to their martial arts school and asked her to keep the dagger. She thinks that the town's historian might know what the symbol in the dagger means, and the two decide to go to him the next day. Then, a flashback shows us Yusao with his late wife who had cancer. She was the only person in the world who loved and accepted him as he is. While she was dying, he practiced martial arts day and night to keep himself from thinking about her inevitable death. Back in the present, Mo and Shining go to the historian to find out more about the dagger. It is revealed that the symbol on it is called Eve Swallow. During the rule of the Qing dynasty, it was given to the person who lost in a martial art fight. The couple is talking about Yusao when a man nearby overhears them and claims to know him. He says that a few years ago Yusao lived with his cancerous wife in a nearby town. Yusao was born with a disability that makes one of his legs shorter than the other. Yet, he was able to master martial art techniques with hard work and dedication. Following that, Mo calls Detective Luck saying that he has a lead. The police immediately come to the town to receive him and make their way to the killer's hometown. They arrive at Yusao's home but see that he has already moved away. The landlady claims that she never saw Yusao do anything other than train. He also used to rub his face with salt until it bled to thicken his skin so it could take a longer beating. Then, the police find writing on the wall that says he has lost everything in his life, and now, his only motive is to fight the best martial artists and be the number one. That is why he has been killing some of the best fighters and plans to kill more. Meanwhile, Yusao goes to his next target, a former fighter and actor. This time, he challenges him to a duel using swords. After a long and fierce match, Yusao slits the man's throat and kills him. After yet another death, Detective Luck is pressured by the higher officials to solve the case sooner. She urges Mo to do the same, but he seems to be hiding something from them. Once when Mo was in prison, he got a letter from Yusao that vaguely talked about a challenge. Then, Mo didn't know what it meant, but now he has realized that he is the final person Yusao wants to fight. Detective Luck also starts to suspect Mo and asks the prison for the CCTV footage of every meeting he has had with an outsider. At night, Mo is sitting alone in his room when he remembers the day before the first murder took place. Yusao had sent him a letter asking him to watch the news. The following day, the police find out about Yusao's current address and send a SWAT team to the house. They search around it but find no one inside. Just as they are about to leave, they see that his wife's ashes are still there, which means he will definitely return to retrieve them. Detective Luck orders a redeploy and makes the police stay hidden until Yusao returns to the house. The next morning, he is seen approaching the house on a boat. A flashback shows that his wife was struggling severely before her death. Yusao couldn't see her in such a condition anymore, so he mercy killed her by strangling her to death. In the present, the police see him and cautiously wait for him to come closer so they can all attack at once. However, Yusao notices guard dogs around the neighborhood and takes a random turn. Before anyone knows where he went, he disappears. Somewhere else, an officer investigating the CCTV footage from the prison finds out that Yusao had come to meet Mo while he was in prison. Detective Luck points her gun at him, believing that the killings were his and Yusao's plan to get him out of the prison. Meanwhile, Shining has set off to look for Yusao on her own. Mo swiftly gets hold of the gun from Detective Luck and escapes to pursue Yusao and his wife. At the same time, Shining and Yusao meet inside his house. She hands him his wife's ashes, asking him to leave her husband alone. However, Yusao believes that if he kills her, Mo will be even stronger. They get into a fight and Shining, who is also a trained fighter, gives him tough competition. But eventually, he stabs her in the arm and runs away. Mo arrives to see his wife on the floor and calls for help. He notices Yusao right outside the house and jumps to catch him. They land on a boat and the container with the ashes breaks. While struggling, they fall into the river. Yusao manages to get on top of another boat and drive away. He eventually crashes to a boat with Detective Luck and the police officers but disappears soon after. Mo also runs away after making sure his wife will be saved. He calls Detective Luck and tells her that when he first got Yusao's letter, he thought he was only a fan. Seeing his interest in martial arts, Mo taught him everything he wanted to know while he was still in prison. He was unaware that Yusao will use the knowledge to kill people. Mo also knew that Yusao was going after Shining, and if he had told the police everything from the beginning, they wouldn't need his help. Hence, he kept the secret so he could come outside the prison and save his wife himself. Mo knows who Yusao's next target is. Using the information, he manages to find Yusao in the middle of a highway on his way to his target's house. Although Mo has a chance to run him over, he doesn't do it because he wants to fight him. Yusao is delighted that his wish is finally coming true. The two join hands to respect each other as opponents and start the battle in the middle of the road. Almost matching in strength and skills, they are not able to do any harm to each other for the first few minutes. But then, when Yusao gets tired, Mo slams him to the street where Yusao is almost hit by a vehicle. Following that, they get a hold of bamboo sticks and fight using them. Eventually, the bamboos also break, and they fist fight again. Suddenly, Mo ends up under a car that drags him a little further. It is enough to make him go unconscious. Taking the opportunity, Yusao drags him to the other side of the road. He is about to kill Mo, but Detective Luck arrives at the right time and shoots him dead. In the end, Mo is taken to the hospital. 3 months after the incident, he is in prison again. Detective Luck comes for a visit and informs him that he is being bailed shortly. In the last scene, we see Mo and Shining taking pictures with the students from their school of martial arts. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.